Hello and welcome to Freya's tropical garden. It's been a month of storms and rain and even some snow, so I hope everybody's gardens are doing okay. This is the last episode of the year and the last episode of season 2. So here's what we've got coming up for you in today's special Christmas episode. There's the draw for the competition which featured on my last episode, and I introduce a new competition to win a plant. There's part 3 of my series on Birmingham Botanical Gardens. I review the Illumination displays at Wisley Glow and Staunton Enlightened. And there are some beautiful tropical flowers in my highlights of 2024. But first I have the draw for my latest competition, and I'm introducing my new competition. Now it's time for the draw of my competition to win a Jacaranda mimosifolia. But first, I just want to remind those who entered my last competition, if you haven't already emailed me, there are still 4 people that I'm waiting to send prizes out to, so do check my last episode. But for today, we have 12 entries into this competition draw. Thank you to everyone who's entered, and best of luck to all of you. Today's draw is going to be done by spinning a winner. And the winner is Dave Greenthumb. Congratulations, Dave. Please can you email me at freyastropicalgarden@gmail.com. And to those who didn't win this time, please do enter my next competition, and I hope you have better luck next time. Congratulations, Dave. Epipremnum are a genus of plant known as pothos and are related to colocasias and alocasias. They're easy to care for climbing vines, which make a fantastic houseplant. They're often confused with Scindapsus, which they were originally classed under. Epipremnum can survive without too much light or water, so it's best to water less frequently, as roots may rot if overwatered. I have a small pothos to give away in this month's competition. And as usual, all you need to do to enter is comment on this video below to confirm that you live in the UK, and please make sure you've subscribed to my channel. The competition will close on the 17th of January, and the winner will be drawn in the first episode of the new series of Freya's Tropical Garden, so don't forget to check back. Good luck to everyone who enters. Coming up next, I have the last part of my series on Birmingham Botanical Gardens, which covers the tropical and subtropical glasshouses. Birmingham Botanical Gardens is a rich, uniquely biodiverse natural environment and one of the UK's most significant historic botanical gardens. In part 1 of this series, we explored the outdoor and Japanese gardens, as well as the National Bonsai Collection. Part 2 took a closer look at the Arid House and the Mediterranean House. And in this video, we will delve into the plants growing in the tropical and subtropical houses. The tropical house is the most diverse area of the garden per square metre. Hot, humid conditions makes it ideal for growing tropical plants and maintains a minimum winter temperature of 16 degrees C at night. The subtropical house is the largest of the glasshouses and features many palm trees and tree ferns. It is less hot and humid than the tropical house and has a minimum night temperature of 13 degrees C. Here are a few of the plants you can find growing here. Cymbopogon Citratus is more commonly known as lemongrass, which is a common ingredient in Asian cooking where the plant originates. It is a clump-forming grass with strongly lemon-scented leaves. It grows best in loam-based soil in full sun, but will need to come indoors when temperatures drop below 5 degrees C. Camellia Sinensis is the shrub that is used to make tea and is native to Asia. It is a slow-growing tree that can reach up to 4 meters in height. It grows best in acidic to neutral, sandy or loam-based soil in partial shade and can survive winter outdoors in most of the UK once established. Solanum Betaceum is more commonly known as the tamarillo and is often grown for its edible fruits and is native to South America. In its natural environment, they can grow up to 6 meters tall, but in the UK is usually grown in pots to bring in over winter. It prefers full sun and a sheltered spot. Billbergia Nutans is also known as the Queen's Tears and is a bromeliad native to Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay and Argentina. It is epiphytic, meaning it grows on other plants, taking water and nutrients from the air. It grows best in partial shade and will need to be brought indoors over winter. Vriesea Splendens is also known as the Flaming Sword and is a bromeliad native to Trinidad and Venezuela. The vibrant red flower gives it its nickname, although flowers and leaves can vary in colour. It is often grown in the UK as a houseplant, preferring acidic loam-based soil and bright indirect light. Neoregelia Fuego is commonly called the blushing bromeliad and is native to the South American rainforests. If grown outdoors in summer, it will need protection from midday sun. Keep cups filled with water and don't let the soil dry out completely, but avoid letting the soil get wet and soggy. Guzmania are a genus of bromeliad native to the Central and South America. Grown for their stunningly vibrant flowers, they are epiphytic, growing on other plants, and the main plant dies after flowering. However, it can easily be propagated from offsets. They prefer warm temperatures and high humidity. Nepenthes ventrata is a natural hybrid endemic to the Philippines and is one of the easiest carnivorous plants to grow. Nicknamed monkey cups due to the fact that monkeys often drink from the pitchers, they should be watered using distilled water or rainwater, misted daily, and grown in bright, indirect light. Sarracenia Tosa is a beautiful pitcher plant that will catch wasps, earwigs, flies, and other pests, both indoors and outdoors. It is a dwarf Sarracenia, with red pitchers and deep red veining going into the lid. Like most carnivorous plants, it needs rainwater and can be left standing in the water throughout the warmer months. Drosera Capensis albino is the white form of the carnivorous plant known as the Cape sundew and is native to South Africa. The tentacles secrete a sticky substance which traps small insects. It is easy to grow on a sunny windowsill, nutrient-poor soil and rainwater. Cymbidium Sarah Ice Cascade is a stunning orchid with beautiful white flowers which give it its name. It has a long flowering period and grows well as a hanging plant. It prefers cooler conditions between 10 to 14 degrees C in winter and should be placed in a well-lit spot with good ventilation and watered with rainwater when the surface soil is dry. This Zygopetalum Hybrid is an orchid with beautiful mottled yellow-pink flowers. Native to the humid forests of South America, they have long-lasting flowers which can bloom for weeks. They prefer a humid location such as a kitchen or a bathroom and bright indirect light. Zygopetalum Impasto Blue is an orchid variety with a beautiful and fragrant flower. Zygopetalum do require a little more water than other orchid varieties, and soil should be kept evenly moist, allowing the top third to dry out between waterings. Licuala Grandis is often called the ruffled fan palm, and is a palm tree native to Vanuatu in the Pacific. In its natural environment, it grows in tropical rainforests, so prefers high humidity, with daily misting or a pebble tray, water when soil surface is dry, and keep out of direct sunlight. Phoenix Roebelenii is commonly known as the pygmy date palm, and is native to southeastern Asia. It can grow between 2 and 7 meters tall, and has spiny thorns at the base of the leaf. It's not hardy in the UK, but can be grown in pots and grows well in conservatories. Cyathea Gigantea is also known as Gymnosphera gigantea and is a tree fern native to Asia. It naturally grows in moist open areas where it can grow to 5 metres tall. It is not thought to be hardy in the UK and is likely to grow too tall for most homes and conservatories. Cyathea brownii is more commonly known as the Norfolk tree fern and is native to the island near Australia and New Zealand. It is one of the largest tree ferns, growing to 20 metres in height and fronds up to 6 metres long. It needs moist soil rich in organic matter and can tolerate temperatures down to 0 degrees C. Blechnum gibbum is known as the miniature tree fern and is native to New Caledonia. It is a slow-growing fern and ideal for growing in containers in a partially shaded conservatory or greenhouse. It likes moist, acidic soil and a sheltered spot away from drafts. Blechnum brasiliensis is commonly known as the dwarf Brazilian tree fern, reaching a maximum height of 1.5 metres. New fronds emerge in a pinkish-red colour before turning green as they mature. They grow best in partial shade and should be given protection over winter. Phlebodium aureum is a tropical fern native to the Americas. Commonly known as the harefoot fern, it is epiphytic, taking water through its leaves, so grows best in high humidity with regular misting. As a houseplant, it's easy to grow, but requires soil to be moist at all times. Ceratozamia mexicana is a cycad native to the mountains of Mexico. Like many other cycads, they have long palm-like fronds, which are bright green in colour when the new flush unfurls. In its natural environment, it grows in moist tropical forests, so enjoys regular watering, keeping the soil moist. Heliconia bihybelicea is native to South America and is commonly known as the false plantain or firebird. Typically, it grows to more than 1.5 metres in height with beautiful lobster claw flowers. In the UK, they can be grown in pots and brought indoors over winter. Strelitzia alba is also known as the white-flowered wild banana and is a large variety of the bird of paradise, growing up to 10 metres tall. Although not hardy, they can often be grown in pots outdoors in summer and brought indoors over winter. However, eventually they are likely to outgrow most homes. Musa mannii is commonly known as the Indian dwarf banana and is a critically endangered species native to the Himalayas. It can grow up to 5 foot tall with stunning pink flowers and fruit that grows to 2 inches long. It is considered half-hardy, similar to the Musa sycamensis, so if you're able to grow that outside, you may be able to grow this. Calliandra hematocephala is also known as the red powder puff, due to the fluffy-looking flowers it produces in summer. It is a small tree native to Bolivia, which belongs to the same family as the acacia. It grows best in sandy or loam-based soil, in full sun, but is not hardy in the UK. Megascopasma erythroclamis is commonly known as the Brazilian red cloak and is a shrub native to Venezuela, which grows 2.4 metres tall. It produces vibrant flower spikes from summer into winter and prefers full sun or partial shade. Grown indoors, it needs bright indirect light and high humidity, keeping soil moist. Dichorysandra thersiflora is commonly known as blue ginger, although it's not actually a ginger and is more closely related to Tradescantia. It's native to tropical America and has been naturalised in Australia. It's fast-growing and tolerates a range of conditions. Dormant rhizomes can be stored over winter. Cecropia polystachya is also known as the trumpet tree and is a small tree with large leaves, which grows quickly to around 2.5 metres tall. It is native to the wet tropical regions of Bolivia, Peru and Brazil. Grown indoors, it will need plenty of bright light and ideally temperatures above 10 degrees C. Ceiba speciosa is commonly known as the silk floss tree and is native to tropical and subtropical forests of South America. It is a deciduous tree with a trunk studded in thick, sharp, conical prickles. In the UK, it can be grown in pots, and although it can take a few degrees of frost, it's best moved indoors for winter. Bambusa vulgaris vittata is commonly known as the painted bamboo. It's a medium-sized clumping bamboo native to China and is one of the most cultivated ornamental bamboos in the tropical world. It can survive temperatures down to -1 degree C, so in the UK would need to be grown as a houseplant over winter. Billbergia Nutans is also known as the Mysore trumpet vine and is a climbing plant native to India. It can reach 6 meters in height and is grown for its dramatic, unusual flowers. Grown outside in summer, it should have full sun and loam-based soil. Xanthosoma sagittifolium is a variety of aroids similar to colocaceas and also nicknamed elephant ears. They prefer bright, indirect light indoors, but when outdoors in summer they usually grow well in full sun. They need regular watering and soil should remain damp in summer. Next up, I went to Wisley Glow and Staunton Enlightened to review their illumination displays. At this time of year, when the weather is colder and wetter and most plants are not looking at their best, I imagine public gardens around the UK don't get a lot of visitors. But you may have noticed recently a few places are now taking advantage of the early dark nights to host illumination displays. I visited 2 of these displays to find out what they're like and took along my 2 children so I can review the events from the perspective of different age groups. The first Illuminations I went to is at RHS Wisley in Surrey, and the event is called Glow. Tickets are available to purchase online on the Wisley website, and entry is discounted for RHS members. Members can also take up to 2 children at a discounted rate, and under 5s are free. Tickets must be booked in advance, as there are only a limited number of tickets for each time slot. The first entry is from 4 p.m, and time slots are every 15 minutes. You can visit the garden before the event starts, but you'll have to leave the garden when it closes at 3:30 and wait for your time slot to re-enter. Once inside the garden, there is a designated route to follow, but you can make your way around at your own pace and paths are pushchair and wheelchair friendly. There are several stalls selling Christmas gifts and festive food and drink at the entrance. There are also several photo points to create special memories as you go around the garden. During my visit, there were queues to use these, but they weren't long. The cafes in Wisley are also open and serving a small selection of meals, such as pasta and pizza dishes, for those wishing to time their dinner during the visit. I arrived early for the 4 p.m. slot, and at first it wasn't quite dark enough to fully appreciate the lights. Although they did still look pretty. It wasn't long, however, before the last of the daylight disappeared and the illuminations could fully be appreciated at their best. I was a little sceptical before arriving at Glow, thinking that once you've seen a few colourfully illuminated plants, surely it must feel a bit repetitive. However, this was not the case, and as the path takes you through a journey around the garden, with each new area bringing something different to appreciate. Some of the lights were even interactive, changing colour when the sensors were touched, which was very popular with the younger visitors. There's even a children's story of the tale of Jack Frost being played as you walk around, narrated by Alan Titchmarsh and with music composed by Debbie Wiseman. Many of the light displays are timed with the music. Wisley Glow is probably not the best time to appreciate individual plants if your interest is primarily botanical. For a start, you're not free to wander around the whole garden, so I was unable to see the exotic garden, for example. Plants that are illuminated do look spectacular, and it's an opportunity to really showcase some outstanding plants. But of course, with the coloured lighting, you're not seeing the beautiful natural colours. and not all the plants are illuminated, so some do get lost in the dark. I can see that this might not appeal to everyone. Personally, I thought the coloured lighting, combined with the unusual aspect of seeing the garden after dark, added an interesting element to the garden, and if you'll excuse the pun, allowed me to see the garden in a new light. Around every corner, I was always surprised by the beauty and intrigue that the staff at Wisley have managed to create. The route does take you through the glasshouse, entering through the moist temperate zone, and taking you through both the tropical glasshouse and the dry temperate zone, although you cannot access the rest of the glasshouse. Tree ferns, cycads, and succulents are all illuminated, along with many other plants, and there are still several flowers to enjoy in November. As the route comes to its conclusion, you'll pass beneath a beautifully lit pergola towards the lily pond, and although you will struggle to appreciate the water lilies growing there, this is the setting for the final part of the Jack Frost story, with a water fountain display set to the time of the dramatic musical finale, light projected into the sky, and the wonderful Wisley house illuminated in changing colours. It's a fitting end to the evening. All in all, it took me 2.5 hours to go round the whole garden. This includes stopping off for dinner halfway through, and stopping to film the lights frequently as I went around. I really enjoyed the experience and would definitely go again. More surprisingly, both my 6-year-old and my 17-year-old really enjoyed themselves, which makes a nice change from my usual experience of dragging them round gardens. Both said they would go again, and my youngest was particularly in love with the water fountain display, wanting to watch it again and again. In fact, it was difficult to drag her away, and she was very disappointed when she realised that we'd reached the end and it was time to go home. There were plenty of other very young children there when I visited, who all appeared to be enjoying the experience too, so this certainly would be a suitable outing for the whole family. Next up, I visited Staunton Farm in Hampshire for their illumination display, which is run by Enlightened Moments. This is an external organisation that have illumination displays in locations around the UK. I had originally booked my tickets for a Saturday, but the event was cancelled due to a storm. However, changing the tickets was easy and I visited midweek. I was expecting this to be a much smaller event than Wisley Glow, simply because the grounds are much smaller, but I thought the setting in the farm might be interesting. Unfortunately, the animals were not there. I assume they were moved for their protection, but it was still a very different kind of event from Wisley. Again, visitors follow a set route around the farm and gardens. It is wheelchair and pushchair accessible, however paths can get a little bit muddy and slippery, and they are gravel studded, with some roots protruding in places, and there's also a downward slope at one point which some may find a little more tricky. The light show itself had many elements similar to those at Wisley, with plants illuminated with colour and different light displays in different areas of the park. There were a lot more interactive displays for children, as well as photo opportunities, both of which had little or no queues, although this may be different at weekends. I did, however, feel that I needed to rush my children once they had a turn, to prevent queues building, and I think they would have liked more time to enjoy the activities. The most notable difference at Staunton Enlightened was the use of light technology to provide animations, including games, stories, and a wonderful walk around a fairy garden with fairies appearing to be in cages and illuminated fairy doors at the base of trees. This provided a magical experience for younger children. The path also takes visitors through the Staunton Maze, where you may struggle not just to find the middle, but also the exit to continue your journey. Unfortunately, the path does not take you through Staunton Glasshouse, so I was unable to see the beautiful tropical plants illuminated, which I think is a missed opportunity. However, the glasshouse itself is still a lovely sight, illuminated in various colours. Overall, both my children enjoyed the experience, but they did feel they preferred Wisley Glow. It took about an hour to walk around, and although refreshments are provided halfway round, we didn't stop off on this occasion. I felt the event was a bit more suited to younger children, while Wisley may appeal more to adults. However, it's still a great place to visit for the whole family. And finally, I have some floral highlights of my 2024 year to end the series with a bit of tropical cheer. I plan to do a review of the year here, but as most of you are aware, for me, that mostly involves digging up my garden, and I wanted to bring you something a bit more cheerful. I have brought you footage from several gardens around the south of the UK this year, from the Eden Project, Birmingham Botanical Gardens, Wisley, Sky Garden and Trabar, and not all the plants I filmed made it into my videos. So in this video, I put together a collection of some of the most beautiful tropical flowers I've seen on my travels this year. I hope you enjoy, and Merry Christmas. Well, that's all we've got time for in today's episode of Freya's Tropical Garden. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like your garden to feature in a future episode, please do contact me. My contact details are at the end of this video. In the meantime, I hope you have a very happy Christmas and a lovely new year, and I'll see you next year for season 3 of Freya's Tropical Garden. If you're enjoying the content of Freya's Tropical Garden, then please help this channel grow by subscribing. Every new subscriber is appreciated, and by turning on notifications to my videos, you can also make sure that you don't miss any episodes in future. You can also follow me on social media, where I'll release links to my latest videos, as well as share my flower of the day. You can follow me on X, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, or join my Facebook group to engage in discussions and share your own photos. Freya's Tropical Garden webpage also has links to my videos and helpful advice. And now, in order to support the continued growth of this channel, there is an option of becoming a member, which will give you access to a private Facebook group where I'll be running monthly competitions exclusively for members, as well as additional exclusive content. And as always, I welcome your feedback in the comments below.